The only person you destined to become is the person you decided to be. Hello everyone, I Drishi Goyal welcomes you to yet another session of SSBCrack Talks. And today in this particular session, we are going to invite one such candidate who decided to become an officer and was able to fulfill his dream in his very first attempt by becoming the second All India rank holder for SSC Tech 59 course and is going to join the academy that is OTA Chennai very soon. So let us all welcome Mr. Animesh Bhardwaj, the AIR-2 rank holder for SSC Tech 59 course, and listen to his journey along with us. Yeah, hi Animesh, how are you?
Fine, ma'am, and I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much for calling me.
Okay, first of all, many congratulations for having ranked AIR-2 in your SSC Tech 59 course. And how are you feeling about it?
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's a very good feeling. बहुत हमारे पेरेंट्स से फ्रेंड्स से सब बहुत अच्छे से we had very much fun after that. We went to parties and all. So just waiting. We are joining in some time. Till that time, the time I have with my family, I'm just trying to have the most fun out of it.
Okay, so when your result were declared, right? How were you feeling at that time? मतलब ऐसा है ना आपका तो फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट था तो कैसा
Yes, ma'am.
लगा आपको उस टाइम पे when your chest number was called on that day of result?
मैम it was a feeling of being top of the world, but मैं ये बोलूँगा कि मेरे को उसका कितना इम्पोर्टेंस है रिकमेंडेशन की, मेरे को जो उसकी इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं पता होगी उससे ज्यादा पता होगी जो रिपीटर्स हैं. So I was more happy for the repeaters in my group rather than me, although everybody was equally happy. But yes, it was something out of the world. सबके लिए एक ऐसा moment था. Everybody was crying and all. So it was great.
Okay, तो जब आपने अपने family members को call किया, how was their reaction? Your fans, your family, and everybody out there.
मैम रिकमेंड होते ही पहले तो हम लोगों को टाइम ही नहीं मिल रहा था बिल्कुल भी. देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ फॉर्म फिलिंग एंड ऑल, बट मेरे पेरेंट्स को कहीं ना कहीं पता चल चुका था. सो व्हेन आई कॉल्ड देम, मैंने वीडियो कॉल की थी एंड दे वर वेरी हैप्पी. माय ब्रदर ऑन टॉप ऑफ दैट, माय ब्रदर इज अ स्पेशल चाइल्ड एंड उसको आर्मी से इतना ज्यादा लगाव है कि ही स्टार्टेड क्राइंग. So it was a very good feeling, and yes, my father himself was proud.
Okay. So tell me, what was the cutoff for the SSC Tech entry when you applied for it?
It is 60%, ma'am, in the most cases. It has been 60% till now. It might increase in the coming days, but हमारे टाइम पे 60 था. अभी पहले से भी 60 ही चल रहा है.
Okay. And you are for which branch?
I'm from electrical engineering.
Right. Okay. तो अगर मैं specifically आपके interview की बात करूँगी, right? Generally, the entire process of SSB is same for all the entries. जो
Yes,
थोड़ा
ma'am.
सा specific changes आएंगे, that is in your interview part. So can you tell me what particularly technical questions were asked in your interview?
Okay, हाँ, ma'am, it was a very, I would say, it was a bad luck for me because मेरे जो electrical engineering है सर के पास डबल ही लिखा होगा. तो when he started asking technical questions, he started asking electronics के questions.
Okay.
So I was like, this is not something I am prepared for. So he asked me 4 to 5 questions when I was not able to answer. So he gave me a good thrashing कि तूने पढ़ा क्या है, तो क्यों उठ के आ गया है. मतलब sir, the questions you are asking, these are electronics questions. I am from electrical engineering. So he paused for a moment and he said, oh, तो डबल ही क्या होता है. मतलब sir, electrical engineering. Then he went on asking electrical questions, and they were basic questions, very basic questions. So those questions I was able to.
Example of some of the questions.
I would say like why do our appliances and they blink? Why is it that we use AC in our houses? AC in the sense alternating current. And something about transformers and all. What types of transformers are there? What is the use of step up and step down? These kind of questions. And
basically, so real time mein, we are using the appliances or equipments. Regarding that only they asked you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So now I'll start from the starting. Okay. So as you know that it is the screening part which comes into play, and everybody's scared about it because it is very skeptical. Nobody knows what will be happening in the screening part. So can you tell me how you prepared for the screening? Also, can you suggest some of the tips and tricks for those who are going to be appearing for the upcoming SSB attempts?
Ma'am, screening, as we all know, is based on two parts. One is OIR and the second is PP and DT. You can obviously prepare for OIR. Most of the sets of the questions are very similar. If you prepare, I actually started preparing from one of your sets only, SSBCrack sets only. There were 20 sets of 50 questions each. So there also we had two sets, 50 questions each. For the first set, we were given 35 minutes. And second set ke liye we were given 25 minutes. They were very easy, only and only if you have practiced. So मैं OIR के लिए 2 हफ्ता I practiced and practiced a lot. For PP and DT, it is something which obviously you should know the format की लिखना कैसे है, box में fill कैसे करना है. These are the basics you should know. You'll never know कि picture क्या आने वाली है. So you can't be pre-prepared for that. कि ये आएगा तो मुझे ये लिखना है. You'll never know picture क्या आने वाली. So your mind, your thinking should be such broad कि कोई भी picture आए, you should be able to make a good story out of it. Mostly it should be positive. It should have a positive outcome. And PP and DT and screening went well. Our GD group discussion also went well. We had a very healthy conversation. We were not given much time to speak about our story. Sometimes it was just 30 seconds, I believe. So this was my screen.
Okay, so how many questions you attempted in OIR and in what time? Like you were able to complete it on time या कुछ ऐसा कि यार कम time है और वहाँ से?
For the first OIR, जिसके लिए 35 minutes है, it was actually an easy OIR. It was completed in 20 minutes, I believe. The second OIR, जिसके लिए we got 25 minutes, वो थोड़ा calculation part ज़्यादा था उसमें. So it took most of my time. If it was of 25 minutes, it took 23 minutes, I believe, 24.
Okay. Can you suggest some of the topics on which candidates should give more emphasis on while they are preparing for OIR?
OIR, we all know, is based on two things, verbal and non-verbal ability. So there are no topics. It is just reasoning questions, your basic IQ level questions. You can find them anywhere out there. Just practice them because the pattern is same. The pattern repeats itself. So you can practice it anywhere from any set and you'll get the same set of, not the same questions, but the same type of questions. So you can do them easily.
Okay, great. So can you tell me the format of story, like what a good story needs to contain in it?
Right, ma'am. So in OIR, you will be shown, PPDT will be shown a picture and there is a block. On the right side of the block, there you have to write action and in the bottom, you have to write a story. Now, we were told that we'll be given around 4-5 minutes to write the story. But in actual, we were given not more than 2 minutes, 30 seconds or something like that. So we had to be very fast. Now, most of the pictures shown there will be having a negative impact. It will be somewhere a fire is breaking out, somewhere something else bad is happening, someone is stabbing someone, and sometimes it is normal pictures also. So you should try to have a fair story that will have an output where you are doing something which is helping with the outcome of the story. It means if there is a fire breaking out, you should have a story that you have extinguished the fire. If there is something bad happening, you should be able to write something that how did you make it to a better way. But you should keep one thing in mind for sure. I would like to tell everybody that it is not at all compulsory that what you have written will be discussed in the group discussion. It is just a mela in group discussion. Everybody will have their thoughts. In my PP and DT story, there was no fire in the image. But in the discussion, everybody was talking about fire. If other person was talking about something else and third person said fire, then the second person also started fire. So you have to be with the group. You cannot be like मैंने नहीं देखी fire. If majority of the group is saying something, so be with the group. ठीक है, fire हम करेंगे. So we had a very healthy discussion. Yes. So this is what you should do for PPDT.
Okay. Have you encountered this fish market situation in your GD, or was it smooth and everybody was listening to you?
It is fish market for everybody, ma'am. It is just that how do you come out of that? Are your
Mm-hmm.
points really valid? You should have a good base in your voice, because people always listen. It is not that nobody wants to listen to you, but everybody wants to get selected also. So
Right.
they'll only stop speaking till the time they hear somebody else. Okay, there is something coming from the other end. It will only happen if you are speaking loudly. Many people have very good points, but they don't speak loudly at all. So they get somewhere far behind. And you should participate thoroughly in the group. You should not be negative about anything. Anybody saying something, you should never deny them. If this is not there, you cannot put that. You should somewhere
Mm-hmm.
put that in your story. Okay, you are saying this, I'll put that in the story. And this is how the story will go like.
Okay. Also, there's a myth that one who narrates the group story always gets in. What is your say on that?
Ma'am, in our time, there was nobody selected for the narration. So in our entries, I don't think, due to the majority of the people reporting,
Mm-hmm.
we don't get to select leaders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So now if I'll ask you, as soon as you get screened in, the most important part there is documentation, and the most important document there is PIQ form.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
So have you ever prepared or written the PIQ form before going to the SSB? And do you think is it important to at least fill it once so that you are knowing what you need to fill it up? Or on the spot karoge tab bhi theek hai? What is yours?
PIQ is one of the most important forms in your whole SSB process,
Yeah.
especially when you will be going for your interview.
Mm-hmm.
I had filled my PIQ beforehand once. I had tried, because it is not just like what is your name, what is your father's name. It has a lot of things where you need to provide a lot of information about yourself. And whatever you are writing, just remember that on the back of your mind, that whatever you write is going to be checked. You have written that you play this game, so you should know A to Z of that game. You have written you are good at singing, you should be able to name most popular singers. So whatever you are writing, it is a very important form. We have to fill it 2 times, the PIQ. And
Right.
documentation for us actually started before the screening itself. And
Okay.
for anybody, by that I mean anybody who is going for an SSB, keep that thing in mind, that please complete your documentation. We actually were somewhere 300 people who had reported, but only 283 were given the chance to give the screen in, because others were thrown out due to the documentation. They did not have the required documents. So you are coming from such a far place and then getting out for documentation. So please get your documentation completed beforehand. Coming again to PIQ, it is very important. You should fill it once beforehand, because it is a long form, it takes time, and it is going to be a pillar for your interview. Everything in the interview is going to be asked from that, mostly. But
Right.
yeah, it is important. It is very important.
Okay. So now I'll talk about OLQs, right? These
Yes,
officers like qualities that every defense aspirant is now knowing about, right?
yes,
But
ma'am.
they actually don't know what they are for, right? So can you tell me how you actually worked around these OLQs, and have you tried to imbibe in them in you before going for SSB?
Ma'am, to be very frank, I did not know what OLQ is till I
Mm-hmm.
started preparing for SSB. That was 2 months before my SSB. I knew that okay, there is something like officer like qualities, and I knew that there are 5 to 6 qualities. I did not even know if there were 15. OLQ is something which cannot be ingrained. It naturally comes to you, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
For to give an example, one should be humble. One should be open to all the avenues in life, whatever is thrown at him or her. One should be able to make friends. One should be able to deal with difficulties. So 15 OLQs, I can't name them because I personally also don't know them till now. But whatever I have seen in the SSB, the people who had a huge heart, I would say, who were very happy with themselves, happy with their lives. They were mostly the guys who were getting selected because they knew what they are. That is one of the OLQs, I believe, because knowing yourself is one of the most important things one can have. You are sometimes what the IO did. IO asked me that gives 7 disadvantages about your. अपनी 7 कमियां बताओ.
Right.
7,
Actually,
7
I wanted to
कमियां.
ask this question to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So 7 kamiya is something I did not have even. I did not have even 4. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but at that time, naming these is a huge deal. And somebody who is naming 7 kamiya about himself or herself, there is a problem, because you know the bad things about you more rather than the good things.
Right.
So yeah. So this is what OLQ for me is, that you are larger than life. You know yourself, and you know how to tackle the difficulties. You don't need to be anything much more than that.
Okay, so as you have taken up the topic of this weaknesses,
Yeah,
can
yeah.
you tell me how you put forward those weaknesses? Because they should not be put in such a that they are huge negatives, right? And you have to tell them also, as it has been asked. So how you tackle with that?
Ma'am, I was asked about 7 weaknesses. When I started, my mind was saying, "Ki, do you even know 2 weaknesses of yours?" There were, okay, 2 I said, third I said, then in fourth I started bluffing. The interviewer came to know that he's just saying anything now. For anybody, giving 7 kamiya about them is thoda difficult, ma'am, obviously. So I gave him 4. Then I stopped. So he asked me, or I said, "Sir, I don't have any more." So he said, "ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता." Now, sir, as much as I know myself, these are the only ones I can work upon them. But more than this, I don't think there are any other. So this is the part of my kamiya which happened there. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So now I'll talk about stage 2. Okay. So as you know that there are three main tasks in stage 2, your psych test, your interview, and your ground task. So which went well for you and which you think you could have improved in your recent tests?
The same question was asked by my interviewer in conference. Ma'am, I would say I did psychological test the best because I had practiced a lot. I completed all the SRTs and WATs, all 60 of them. Uh, uh, what I did bad, and I won't say it was bad. I told him that, sir, interview could have been much better. Why? Because I had half partial knowledge about some things which can be brushed up. There were very basic things which can be brushed up, and it could have been better if I had known about those things. It did not go bad at all. It went okay from my side. Obviously, the interview's task is to get you under pressure, and he had done the job very well. But interview was something which I could have done more good if I had more knowledge about those.
Right. So as you have said just now that you have practiced a lot for psych tests. So what was your routine, or how did you imbibe it in your daily routine of practicing psych? And you used to practice the entire set of psychology, or you wanted to target one section at a time?
That's a very good question, ma'am. For psychology, the instructions, first of all, I would like to tell you, are very clear, that anything which pops in your mind, first, you have to write that. Otherwise, you won't be able to complete the psychology test at all. When I had started preparing for my psychological test, I used to try to become like Shakespeare. Due to that, I was not even able to complete 30 of the SRTs out of 60. With time, I realized that, okay, this is not something about me writing very beautiful things. It is something which shows that what comes first to my mind and how do I take things about. So I imbibed this thing that, okay, be it anything, in WAT, if a word comes and a thought comes in my mind, let it be anything, I'll write that statement, because it is my first thought and the instructions are write your first thought. For psychological test as a whole, I had given the psychological test once, the whole complete series. But you cannot prepare for it for sure, because every time the words are different, the situations are different. The only thing you can prepare for is the 12th TAT story and your self description.
Right.
Other than that, yeah, it is a very natural things which comes to everybody. Everybody has thoughts, everybody has statements. So write the first thing which comes to your mind. Don't write anything very beautiful.
Right. Okay. So now I'll talk about blank slide story. Right. So some people say that we should prepare it beforehand, right? And have to write it then and there. Some says that if we'll write pre-prepared story, then it would be different from all of yours, all of you, what you have written in all other 11 stories, right?
Yes,
so what is the exact thing, like what you did and worked well for you?
Beforehand, I was trying to make the 12 story that has such a beautiful outcome, that had a heroic feeling. But I had asked one of the psychologists here in my place itself. He told me that write something which you have done yourself and you have felt good about the outcome. So I had prepared my story about me making a football team in my own college. So it was something which I had done personally, so that in future, if a question comes out of that TAT that you have written this, it might come that you have written this. Why have you written this? So I was very clear that I'll write the 12 story only and only about something which I have done personally, and I have felt very good about the outcome. So this is the 12 380 story.
Right. That was actually a very good suggestion for everybody who wants to prepare, right? So if you are preparing for an SSB, you should definitely take something from your own life while you're writing, right? Okay. So that was really good. Like it is very rare for people to attempt all these 60 WATs and SRT especially, right?
Yes,
so that was actually a very good thing about your SSB interview.
Yes,
okay, so now I'll move on to the interview part, as I've already discussed regarding the technical and the things. Okay, tell me something which you find tricky in your interview. That what is this? ये क्या पूछ लिया अभी तो I won't be able to answer, but then somehow you tackled and okay.
So interview for everybody is one of the most, I would say, difficult parts in the whole SSB process.
Right.
As I said, that your PIQ is your Ramban of that interview, but it is not compulsory that if you have written a sport, so he'll just ask you the dimensions of that sports field or the players. He'll go some other way. I'll tell you how. So interview, I believe, ma'am, personally, that SSB is something you cannot prepare for at all. It is something which comes to you naturally. Interview, it went like he had asked. I had written football as one of my sports interests, so he was coming to football, and I was very happy that okay, now I'm going to answer this because I know everything about football. So he said that tell me the dimensions of the football field. I knew them. Okay. He said तुम्हें 5 किलोमीटर भागना है, इसमें कितने राउंड्स लगाओगे? This is a jump question. Okay, he gave me nothing more than 10 seconds. When I gave the answer, he thrashed me again कि तेरी मैच इतनी खराब है, because I was a digit here and there. Then I asked for some more time, 5 seconds more. I gave the answer. Then he again said अभी भी तू सट्टे मार रहा है. I said no sir, अभी तो calculate करके किया है मैंने. Then he was going to ask me about the regiment you want to go. So I have a very keen interest. If I do get this opportunity in life, I would like to join the parachute regiment. So he was coming to parachute regiment, and I was again very happy that okay, I know much about this. I can answer it. He said, you know that paratroopers and commandos jump from helicopters and planes? I said, yes, sir. Give me the flying principle of both of these. Now, luckily, I knew at that time, because I have been a keen flight simulator player since my beginning of days. I wanted to be a commercial pilot before. So I knew about this. And he'll ask you questions which you have encountered somewhere or the other in life. But it is up to you that at that point of time, because of the pressure, because of the environment which is created inside, you should be able to get it somewhere in your frontal mind. Otherwise, one more question was there that you came from where? I told him, sir, I came from Indore. So he said, you traveled from Bhopal to Indore? I said, yes, sir. So he asked me, you must have traveled from bus. I said, yes, sir. So what movie was going on in the bus? So I told him, sir, it was Simba. So he asked me that how much has the movie earned till now? This is a very vague question. How can somebody know how much this movie? Right. Till the time I'm not into the Bollywood world a lot, I also gave the answer vaguely, sir. It is 400 crore. So he again thrashed me that you are bluffing. The Simba, both the actors themselves would have taken around 150 crore for themselves. So no, sir, it is 400 crore, I am sure. So he did not ask me much about, because how would he also know? I don't think he would
Yeah.
also. So sometimes your answers, you should be confident about your answers. Sometimes he'll ask you things which you know personally that nobody is going to know till the time they have not studied about it. My advice is, like, this was something I believe that Simba telling the grossing, it just okay. It sailed me through, but you should not do this. You should only speak about the things which you know about. If you don't know about anything, if you have partial knowledge about anything, tell him the partial knowledge, and after that, tell him, sir, I don't know. Some people try to make their answers so beautiful without even knowing what has been asked. Don't do that. If you know something, tell about it. If you don't, just say, sir, I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but actually what happens no, once a candidate says, I don't know, it completely takes his confidence down, right? And he is not able to encounter the upcoming questions. So was this kind of situation happened with you?
Yeah, of course, ma'am. Now, every candidate should know this one thing, that the interview there is specifically for pressurizing you. This should be in the back of your mind every time, for every second in the interview, that he is there to just pressurize me. He doesn't want to know how much knowledge I have. He doesn't want to know how how big of an athlete I am. He doesn't want to know what life I have lived. He is there to pressurize you. He'll pick up the things he thinks that, okay, this is something you are just saying like that. You don't have full knowledge of that. Then he'll go to that point itself. It is up to you how you handle that. So keeping in mind that this very interview is designed to pressure me, to mentally, I would say, as a pressure me only. So yeah, then you can tackle the interview much more easily. Because yes, obviously, if you're not able to answer something, the lump will grow up. Okay, I'm not answering now. This is going to be a problem. So you should also know that he has asked me this because he knows I don't know this. So that is something you should know. But what you know, you should know it thoroughly. Okay, great.
Actually, this was the I would say that important line you have just said, because as he was shouting at you multiple times, but
Yes,
you
ma'am.
went there, stand still, and was answering the question. If I have seen many candidates, even if you're normally talking to them, they will find it like stressful, and they'll take it like, okay, he is not impressed with me at all, right? Which actually turns down the table for them.
Very natural, very natural, ma'am.
So keeping this thing in mind that he don't have any kind of personal grudge with us, and we are there to, he's just here to check us, is the like main line I must say.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so there's a very like most commonly asked question. Generally, the end of the interview of every candidate, the interviewer asks for the suggestions. So what do you think a candidate should give the suggestion, or does it is of any kind of importance to the interview, or we should always say, no, I don't have, and just move ahead?
In my case, I said, I know, sir, I don't have any suggestions. But if you do have a suggestion, I don't. I have listened to many people about asking about saying the suggestions, telling them the suggestions, and sometimes people asking that, what do you think, sir, I can improve upon myself? So about suggestions, I have heard a lot of people asking the interviewers, sir, what can I improve upon myself? या आप मुझे बताओ मैंने क्या अच्छा नहीं किया. Obviously, the interviewer haven't seen you in these 4 to 5 days, but whichever time you are there, you should not ask about yourself there first and foremost. He'll never answer you. I'm not saying that it is because it will put a negative impact. The thing is, he will never tell you what you are doing bad or good, because he's there to just assess you. So firstly, don't ask about how I'm doing good or not, because it is just going to waste yours and his time. Secondly, if you do have a suggestion, I gave a suggestion in, it was not a suggestion, it was a compliment. I gave a compliment in my conference. Suggestion, I don't think you will have a suggestion particularly at that time, because SSB is such a fast process. Every day something is happening, every second something is going on. So having a suggestion at that time, I don't think you will have one. And even if you do, you are just pointing out the process, and it won't make a difference. So just say that, no, sir, I had a good time, and there is no suggestion. Just go like that.
Right. So particularly interview went well for you, right?
I won't say well, but yeah, okay, it went okay.
The way you were answering, so I can see like you were very confident, and that is what matters in the entire process.
No, ma'am, I was dripping from inside. It was a very tense, but obviously, as I told you, one should know that it has been designed for that specific thing only, to make you tense.
Right. So, okay, now I'll go to the ground task. Okay, the starting
Yes.
of the GT series is with GD.
Yeah.
And as you know that you have to discuss over 2 topics. And
Yeah.
for both the topics, you're given with 3 leads. So what do you think? You should stick upon one particular lead, or you can like switch at any point of time whenever you feel comfortable about it?
Sure, ma'am. You should know that except the lecturate and the command tasks and the individual tasks, the whole GTO 1 and GTO Day 2 is based on how you perform in a group.
Right.
Now, if you have to perform in a group, you have to be with the group. You have to be with the people of the group. You should have a friendly atmosphere. And during GD, obviously, if I think this first point is correct and other person thinks third point is correct, so it is his thought. I cannot deny that. I'll speak about my point, but if I think that other person is giving much better opinions about the third point, I can add on to that also. I will not stick to mine. This is the only thing which is applicable for this very topic. We can give views on all three, obviously, but give then only if you think the group is inclining toward. If you have some clear fact about this is the point that is important for this very GT topic, and I can speak about this more and more. You add on to your topic when you think that okay, I don't have much more to talk about this very topic now, so shift to what other people are saying and add on to that. So never stick to just one thing. Be with the group.
All right. And how did you prepare for your GD or lecturate? As you know that it is mostly based upon current affairs or something happening around the world. So what was your approach for that?
A person who is preparing for SSB firstly should know about the relationships of our country with our neighbors. Secondly, they should be aware about all the things which are going on around the world, be it major wars, be it economic crisis. These are the basic things one should know when he or she is going for SSB. The GD topics and lecturate will come from that only. So it is sometimes I see that people know things, but they don't have opinions for them. For GD, you should have opinions for everything. Like if you read about, you say, Indo-China War, 1962, you should have opinions about it. You should not just be like, okay, this was a war, it was fought and done. If you speak about Sri Lankan crisis, it should not be that, okay, Sri Lanka is in debt, khatam baat. You should have your opinions. Why is it in debt? How it can improve itself. So GD is more about having opinions about the topic rather than just bluffing your way out, because the GD shows how much aware are you about the general things which are happening in this world, and how good can you put them into words. It is not at all compulsory that you are very good at English. You should not be. You can put your views clearly, the others are understanding, you are good to go. For lecturate, again, lecturate, unluckily I would say, the guy before me who was giving the lecturate, he spoke nothing more than 2 minutes. So when we were told to go to a far place to prepare for our lecturate, and we were told that we will be given 3 minutes for our preparation. Right. When I was preparing for my lecturate, I saw behind and saw that, okay, this guy is sitting, the person who had to go before me is just sitting. So he had not spoken for more than 2 minutes, so I did not myself get time to prepare. Now my topics were U17, LOC, Made in India, and meditation. This is something I would like to tell everybody, that okay, if you have knowledge about the difficult topics, then only speak on them. If you think you have partial knowledge, but you want to be a person of great value just because you have taken a important topic, and because you have heard somewhere that in lecture if you take the difficult topic and you speak about it, you have more chances of getting in. It is not like that. If you have selected a difficult topic and speak for about it only for 1.5 minutes, where you have to speak about it for at least 3 minutes, at most 3 minutes, then it is a problem. You could have spoken on the easier topic for 3 minutes, but just because of the very reason you have heard here and there that taking difficult topics is going to get you better marks, it will be a huge problem. So I myself selected meditation and spoke for it for 3 minutes straight without any without stopping at all, because obviously I had knowledge about other three topics also, but for me what I could speak about for 3 minutes at that very given point of time with 2 minutes of preparation was meditation. So I did that.
Yeah. So basically choosing a difficult topic and not being able to speak, उससे better तो यही है कि you take a easy topic and speak and give your best for the 3 minutes, right?
Exactly.
All right. So what was your approach for giving the lecture, as it is only 3 minutes and it is very difficult to articulate our thoughts. Even the topic is easy. Then also suddenly to get into that topic to the deeper so that you can cover it for 3 minutes. How you targeted
that? There is a trick for that, I would say. It is not a trick. It is a basic way of saying it, speaking lecture rate, what you should do, because you obviously, many people have information. I did have information about meditation, but had I jumbled it here and there, I would have not been able to speak for 3 minutes. What you should do is you should divide your topic. How will that benefit you? I would say, because when you divide your topic, like I divided my topic into 4 parts. So when I am speaking about the first part, I know that in this first part, only the things which are related to this only have to come. If I'm speaking about something, some advantages of something, so I know I cannot put disadvantage in this. Disadvantage will come after this. So if you have not divided your topic, it might be that you are speaking disadvantage now, then disadvantage, then one more disadvantage, then advantage. So you'll sometime or the other end with I would say your matter will end. So you divide your topics so that you know that at this very specific point of time, I am talking about this very specific topic. Like for meditation, I divided into 4 things. What is meditation? How did meditation come into place? What are the advantages of meditation? And how meditation is done? So then I did not put advantages in how meditation is done, and I did not put how meditation was done and how did meditation come into place. I hope you are understanding. So you should divide your topics.
Basically, it helps us to divide things and what need to said at what time.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. So now I'll talk about command task. As you know that our GTO is also interacting at a certain point of time with us. Like sometimes before our GD, he takes our basic interview or the basic introduction kind of thing. And also before our command task, he tend to interact with the candidate. So what type of questions are asked to you at that point of time?
Okay, so during command task, we are told to go to a far place and just face in the opposite direction so that we are not able to see the obstacles. Even if we were able to see the obstacles, it was of no use. So in command task, they were calling our chest numbers randomly. So you did not know when you will get your chance. That adds to the pressure, I would say. Everything in SSB is about adding more and more pressure. So I was called in the 5th place, and I would say it is a myth for now. What I have seen, that if you get a very difficult command task, it means that you are going to get selected, and if you get a very easy command task, it means you are going to get rejected. A person for whom I went as a supporter had gotten a task in which you only had to put the fatta and it was done. It was over. He also got selected. And a person who had a command task where he had to use all the permutation combinations, he got rejected. So it is not compulsory what kind of command task you get. It is going to be exactly same as the PGT, FGT and all. Here you are the only one commanding. you are given a time pressure there, a lot of pressure. How it starts, the pressure building starts from the very time the GTO calls your chest number. She makes you comfortable first. She asks you questions about how are you liking the stay here, how is your family, what type of education have you had, these kind of questions for 3 minutes, I believe. Then she asks you to call 2 people of your choice to be your supporters, and she'll ask you why have you called only these 2 people rather than the other 2 people. So you should have a clear idea about that also. You cannot be just like that. You should have a reason. Everybody should have a reason for anything they are doing. So then she asks you to brief your group, and when she thinks that okay, you are doing good, then she'll put more pressure. We have a color rule, that blue and red color rules. She'll keep changing the colors so that it becomes more and more difficult.
All right.
So command task is going to be a difficult thing if you are good at it. She'll
Also,
make
yeah. Also, there's one more confusion, that whether the commander should lead from the front or he should just dictate the things to the subordinates to be done. So what is that?
Yes, ma'am. There are 2 things in this. First, because you are doing command task, that directly means you are a leader of that group. So it obviously means that you are the only one who is going to speak. Now, you can help your teammates if they are not able to get the idea straight. If you are saying something that, okay, do this, and you see them struggling, so you should go and help them with that. But if you think something can be done by these 2, because they are my supporters, they have been called for the very thing to do what I am saying. If they are getting the idea of what you are saying, then command them. If you think they are having a problem in understanding your command, then go and help them. And not only in your command task, I would say, when you are called for as a subordinate for some other person, when the very time you reach there, you should have the ideas of that command task also, of other person's command task. Because sometimes the GTO tells you that if you are getting if you think you are getting no idea about how to do this, you can ask your subordinate. So the subordinate, any subordinate, whoever he or she, when they go, they should be able to get a fair idea that okay, this is how it can be done, this too is how it can be done. So you should be obviously able to complete your command task. You should also be able to complete the other one's command task if given to you.
All right. Okay, so now if I'll talk about ground tasks, do you think that preparing for ground tasks on ground beforehand is very important, or it can be done on the spot as well?
Any task in GTO is, I would say, the only task which I had to perform physically in were the group obstacle race, individual obstacles, and these are the only tiring ones. So if you are selecting armed forces as your avenue, so you should be able to have a good endurance firstly. You should start building your endurance beforehand, because it will help you in some way or the other in the SSB. SSB is mostly about psychological aspect, but if you think you can do well in these physical needing things, it will only add on to your value. So 2-3 things are very important. First, you should have a good endurance. Secondly, you should be able to I'll tell you about what had happened with me in the individual obstacle. When there are 10 obstacles, so you have to complete all 10, obviously, in a given amount of time. And if you have completed all the 10 obstacles before time, you can again start them. So it will only add on to your marks. Now, when we were taken to the GTO ground, I had my eye on just one obstacle specific, that was the screen jump. I was thinking how I'll jump it, from where will I jump, how much would I run, all of this. So when my time came, I started the individual obstacles, although I did 16 obstacles, which were the most in the group. But when I ended with my individual obstacles, I looked behind to the screen jump and I thought, when have I jumped this? So I remembered I did not. So only 9 were counted according to the instructions. So you should have a open mind at that time also, that okay, there are 10 obstacles which you have to complete first. You should not be in a hurry to continue again and again. First complete the given task in time. That was something I felt bad about for some time. Then it was okay, there are more things to come in way. So endurance and open mind at that time, these two things are required, because you get so much tired at the end of
Yeah.
the day that all of these feel like a burden to both your mental and physical health, and it is designed for that only.
Yeah. Also, sometimes they gave you some different instructions, right? That if you reach the top, you need to call out certain names, or you need
This
to tell
happens.
your favorite things, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes people just skip it, or they don't pay that much heed to it. So, what is that? Like, is it very important, or without doing that also will work?
It is obviously, if they have given you instructions, you should do it. It shows
Mm-hmm.
how much can you grasp. As I said, I had forgotten one obstacle. It showed that okay, I am in a hurry to complete this. So I did not grasp the thing that you have to complete all. So they are saying all of this for a very reason, that during the coming of an obstacle, or you going to do something, are you listening to their instructions also, or are you just thinking about how am I going to do this? So it shows your open mind, how much aware are you about the things going around you at that time. So do whatever it is said there.
Okay, so out of all the 9 tasks, what do you think was the best for you in GT series?
I would say group snake race. Our group came first. It was a very, very healthy, I would say, very good group. We were participated. We did all the obstacles, and there are 10 obstacles, 10 or something obstacles in the group snake race. In the last obstacle, when we were the only group in the last obstacle, other groups were on 7th or 6th something. We thought that okay, now we have won. We just need to complete this last one. But in the last, what had happened, that one of our group members, him being healthy, he was not able to do the last one. So he tried 9 times. And till that time, other groups had come to the last obstacle itself. So we worked as a group. It was a very fun task. We somehow made him complete the task, and we stood first. So group snake race was very fun, very tiring, but very fun.
All right. Okay, as I was talking with you and you told me that you are a fitness freak, na? So can you tell us about your fitness regime before going for the SSB, and also how it was helpful for you in the SSB process?
I have been a keen sports enthusiast since my childhood, I would say. In SSB, before SSB, I would say whenever you go for something, you have a doubt in mind that whether will I be able to do this or not. So being physically fit, one thing I knew that okay, GTO is not going to be a difficult thing for me. So if you are physically fit, you can just decrease those tensions. So it will only the being physically fit and having good endurance will only add on to the decreasing of your pressure at that very time, because now you don't have that problem of thinking, will I be able to jump this? Will I be able to run this much? Will I be? So these kind of things. For joining the academy, we have been given some basic things which we have to do: 2.5 kilometer, 2.4 kilometer runs in 10 minutes, 10 seconds, something, some push-ups and all. But these are very basic things. Anybody can do that. Other than that, I have run quite a few marathons also. I have played football. I have been a state level swimmer. So all of these things have helped me somewhere or the other, not only in the SSB, but in day-to-day life. Because person who is physically fit will always have a clear mind, I would say. He won't have that tension in the back of their mind that this is going to be a problem for me in the SSB. So everybody should be doing something or the other to keep them fit.
Okay, so like it increases your confidence in a certain way.
Right.
Right. Okay. Okay. Tell me to which board you went, and before going to the SSB or reporting there. Have you visited to the places nearby? And if yes, then how was it?
Ma'am, this was something which people had put in my mind. It was 14 SSB Allahabad. It was my very first SSB. I had reached Allahabad a day before my SSB, and I was staying near to the center, around 4 kilometers in a hotel. I thought that people have told me you should know everything about this Allahabad. So I had asked quite a few questions to the taxi driver. And what are the places you can visit here? What are the things you like about this place? What are the good famous foods? And I had reached Allahabad somewhere around 7 p.m. So I did not have the time to visit the places. And it was so hot and humid there that one could not even go that easily. I had a fair amount of, I had studied about Allahabad, obviously. It was not asked by me also anywhere. But where you are going for an SSB, you should have a fair idea about what trains come there, what planes come there, and how you can travel to that place. If you are anywhere near, somewhere around this globe, how can you travel to that very place? So, yeah, Allahabad. And one more myth that Allahabad is a rejection center. It is purely a myth. Actually, Allahabad is a very fun place. It has 5 boards, so you have no problem at all. You have people and people and people. You will have so great time. You will make so many friends. The very day we reported, now obviously everybody has a childish mind. When we reported 6 a.m., we entered. We were seeing students going in the GTO dresses, the white shorts and t-shirts. So we were thinking, wow, what a life they are living. They have been screened in. They are the studs. They are the man here. Then one of the recommended candidates came and everybody was like, okay, this is God. He's a different human. But with time, everybody is struggling there. Everybody is trying to make his or her recommendation. And everybody have had their own lives. So it is just a mela there, and it is very good. SSB is a very fun thing if one takes it as a fun thing. Otherwise, if you go in pressure, it will get you more pressure.
Okay, so can you tell me how many people reported there, how many got screened in, and how many finally got recommended along with you?
Ma'am, there were at least 301 people who reported, but due to the documentation problem at that time, many a lot, and tattoos also. Some of them were having tattoos also. They were told to go back. So 286 people sat for the screening. 25 got screened in and 8 got recommended. Now 8 is a huge number for Allahabad also. 8 is a very huge number.
Yeah. Okay. So now I'll talk about your conference. As you know that after completing everything, it is the final night of the 4th day, which is like, वो होता ना कि अभी कल क्या होने वाला है, how we are going to tackle it. And as you are an army brat, it was very much okay for you to going in front of all the officers wearing the uniform. But these kids from the civilian background, they do get under stress even after seeing the people in uniform. So what is your suggestion for them as well?
Firstly, I would say it is something new for everybody, ma'am, because you have seen all the 3 SSs, psychologist, GTO, and your interviewing officer in civil dresses only for these whole 5 days. And seeing all of them in a room together wearing their uniforms is something out of this world. It feels like a different place inside. Conference for me, I would say I was also surprised to see my GTO in uniform. I had seen her only in civil dress, and they all look dashing. But the problem with conference is obviously everybody has their own opinions about conference. A day before, we were talking to each other that, okay, if someone's conference goes for long, he's selected. If it doesn't go for long, either he's selected or rejected. These preconceived ideas are one of the most major reasons a person fails, I believe, because they create a pressure inside you which is not at all required. The only thing I did in SSB was play and sleep. these two things. Because had I started discussing with other people during my interview, also I was sleeping before my interview, because children were coming after giving the interview and they were telling other people what had happened in the interview. I would have only gotten pressurized by that. So I was trying to keep myself away from all of this, the negative thoughts. The conference day finally arrived. I was chest number 3. Now the chest number 1 his discussion went on for a minute and conference went on for 30 seconds. He came out with a very happy face. He said he thought he's selected. Second one, discussion went on for good 15 to 20 minutes. And his conference also went for 15 minutes. He was asked SRTs and all. And my conference, my discussion went on for a minute and conference went on for 2 minutes. Because I extended it somehow. What had happened, I went inside. They told me to sit. Then they asked me, how did you like the stay? I said, it was good, sir. Then he asked me the very same question you asked me, that one thing you think you did well in and one thing you did not do very well in. So I gave the same answer as I gave to you. Then he asked me, give me any 3 chess numbers you think are going to get selected and why. Then at the end, he asked me about suggestions. I told them, sir, I don't have a suggestion. I have a compliment. The food is good, but the bhindi is very tasty. So the sir told me that, okay, then so you can pack it for lunch and go home. Now, at that point of time, I could have pressurized myself thinking that he has told me that I have to pack it and go home. That means I'm getting confidence out. I went to the hall and told every other guy, and most of them being those very coached people told me that, yeah, you are going out, you are not getting selected. But it did not hinder my process because I knew that whatever is going to be said inside is only going to again pressurize me. Or some, but conference is the most light part in the whole SSB process. It's a very light part. It's just a farewell. But there also they try to put this in my mind somewhere that, okay, you are going out. But I did not think like that. So yeah, this is how my conference went. And some people's conference went for good 20 minutes. They did not get selected. Vice versa. And for short span of time also, vice versa.
Okay, so how many repeaters and freshers? Like, what was the ratio from out of those 8 who got recommended?
Out of 8, 3 of us were freshers, and the 5 were hardcore repeaters. More than 6 to 7 tries, and I'm very happy for them. Very happy for them. Very good friends, and all of them are joining us in the academy. So this was the ratio.
Okay, so now very soon you are going for the academy, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What are the preparations and everything you are going to do before going for the academy?
First of all, I'm going to visit my hometown, ma'am, Himachal. So I'll be leaving sometime. Our joining is somewhere around first week of October. So before that, I'll be meeting all my relatives first. Secondly, in the joining instructions, they are going to come. There are some things which you have to pack beforehand, like white shoes and some shirts, t-shirts, and some other things. So I'm going to buy them. Then you cannot use phones there. So I also have to get a thing known as dumb phone, only a keypad phone with no camera. Other than that, I am doing a daily exercise for the basic physical requirement, basic physical standards which are required there. Nothing more than that. I'm just enjoying my time with parents. It is going to be a difficult task being away from them for a good amount of months. But yeah, all of us are happy. Okay, so I want to know from you that what is the like preparation or what need to be done before going for medicals, as many people are very much unknown about the process of medicals, right? And many of them are getting PRs, getting stressed, distressed, getting medical out. So what can be your suggestions for that? 2 to 3 things are in your hand in the medicals. First, everybody should search for this, that what are the medical standards for the Indian Armed Forces. Some of them which you can improve is if you have knock knees, you can improve that. If you have flat foot, you can do something about that. Other than these 2 things, if you have airbags, you can get it cleared, but be very safe, because I have seen people who were going to be medically fit, but just because of having a better medical, they tried to remove their airbags, and their kaan ka parda got problematic.
Right.
So these are 2-3 things which you can keep in mind. Other than that, I would say just be very relaxed at medicals, because sometimes you are told to get your hand straight and or to see if your hand shiver or not. That will only happen either if you have a huge problem, and that shivering is a lot. If you think that this, everybody has some amount of shivers.
All right.
A person with a problem of shivering will have a lot of shivers that can be seen clearly. But some people, even in my batch, were so nervous that they did not have any problem of the shivers, but due to the nervousness, they went inside and had shivers. So they were given temporary rejection. So be very relaxed at that time. It is something which is not in your hand. If you have a problem inside, they'll tell you. They'll even give you time to get it corrected if it can be. And some people also get themselves checked beforehand in the private hospitals before going for the medicals, SSB and all. It is okay, but there are cases where the private hospitals have said that, okay, this person is fit, but on the very same page, the military hospitals have given them temporary rejections on the very same grounds. So you never know what is going to be going to go in the medicals. Be very relaxed. This is the only thing I can say.
Okay. Yeah, very good suggestion actually. Thank you so much. Also, finally, I want to ask you before going for SSB, as you know that being fresher, many people are not even knowing what to carry and what not to carry. So can you tell me about basic things like they need to wear a tie or not, or how many number of formals they need to carry, or they need to have the sports shoes as well as the formal shoes. So basic thing if you can tell for the freshers.
This was a problem for me also. First thing I would like to say, as I said before, that please complete your documentation. Whatever is said to be brought by you, do bring that. Then you have to have 2 sets of formals, at least 2 sets, one for the interview and one for the conference. I would say if you have 3, then it is much better. You can wear one. Some people bring formals for screening, then psychological test also, interview also, conference. So carry at least 2 pairs of formals, and if you can, carry three pairs of formals, because if you get recommended, you have to go to MH every day, and you cannot go in lazy clothes. You have to wear formals and all there also. Other than that, do carry lows, anything which does not show your feet. Don't carry shorts, because whenever you are outside the premises of SSB, whether you're going to the canteen and all, they don't allow shorts there. You have to have something which hides your feet, be it jeans, be it lowers. So carry something which doesn't show your legs. Carry at least with formals, you are obviously going to carry a pair of shoes. Other than that, carry at least one pair of sports shoes is obviously required. Carry a good amount of socks, I would say, because every day you are grinding and you don't have the time. Before, I would say, GTO day 2, you don't have much time to wash your clothes and all. So carry these small undergarments, socks and all, so that if you don't get the time to wash them, you do have a new pair somewhere or the other lying for you. And and do carry 2 pairs of these white shorts and white t-shirt, because after GTO they will look all muddy. You cannot wear one. People do wear one pair of the white shorts and white t-shirt for the both GTOs. I would suggest wear different. Carry 2 pairs, I would say. So these are the only things which are required there. Other than that, you cannot use phones. The phones are taken from you. Try to take not a very luxurious phone with you. If you have a very iPhones and all, anything, take a basic phone with you. Don't try to carry some cash. And this is all I can say.
Okay. Finally, Any last tips and suggestions from your end for the upcoming aspirants or going for the SSBs, freshers, repeaters? Like, what will be your final tips and tricks for them?
Sure. Uh, Firstly, SSB is a very fun process. Please don't take it so hard upon yourself for SSB. It is something you are going to enjoy the whole 5 days. If you don't, you are just creating pressure upon yourself, which is not required. Don't be over prepared and don't be over coached. Like
Right.
in GTO, sometimes the instructions are you cannot jump more than 4 feet. So you know this, but you should also know how much 4 feet is. So don't be much coached. Don't have I would say ideas beforehand or fall into the myths. The whole SSB is about you and you only. You are the one who is being assessed. You are the one who is going to do everything and make good friends. Be very good friends, especially with your group, which is going to help you in the GTO a lot. Uh, have a very good time there, I would say. There is nothing to take tension about. If SSB is finding people, I won't say if they have OLQs or not, but they are finding people who are not extremely intelligent or something. They are finding people who can fit into places in any given time. They can fit into any given environment. So be lively, be open to everything, and just have a good time there. Nothing more than that.
Yeah.
Everything,
Okay.
everything you know about yourself, you know about your past. Nothing more is required.
Definitely.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Final suggestions for the team of SSB Crack exams. What do you or what suggestions do you have for us? And how was the platform helpful for you in your preparation?
Firstly, I would like to thank SSBCrack for calling me to this interview. It is a dream come true, I would say, because I have been following this channel a lot, not only for my SSB preparation, but for my written preparations also.
Mhm.
You guys are doing a fantastic job. A fantastic job. I I would say this is not a coaching, but it is a more of a guidance, which actually is required for SSB. You cannot be coached for SSB. You guide people. You guide it to the right way, and this channel has I'm sure made a lot of army officers, and if not only army officers, better human beings out of what you provide from your side. This is all I can tell you, and please keep it up. Please keep it up.
Thank you so much for such kind words. And because of aspirants like you, we will keep on moving like this.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much again. Also, final thing. Okay, were you expecting to be at AIR-2 while you were preparing or going for the SSBs?
I was not even expecting to get recommended in the first place. Now, the
Okay.
very day I had come for screening, I thought that I'll tell you my mindset for SSB. My mindset for SSB was either it is a 1 day picnic or a 5 day picnic. This was my mindset. I'm not saying you should have this mindset,
Yeah.
but I was not pressurized naturally at that time. Getting recommended was obviously a very good feeling, but till now, before the merit came, I did not know that okay, something has happened. I have done something which is of some importance. When merit came, we all of us, the recommended candidates, were waiting for the merit since the past 3 to 4 weeks.
Right.
Every day, I used to open the Join Indian Army site. Every 15 minutes, I would say, to see merit. During the day of Ganesh Visarjan,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I was just going for the Visarjan, and before that, the merit had come. I was sitting with my family, and I don't know what problem is there with my phone. The merits don't open it on it, so I asked some other guy. So he sent the merit. Now I went to the electrical section first, and I did not find my name for the first time. I thought I'll start from the bottom because I'll be somewhere there. There were 14 seats and 9 were recommended. So I started from the bottom. As I was going up, I thought, I don't have my name here. I believe some problem has happened. Up. I saw Animesh Bhardwaj the second one. I shouted AIR-2. And everybody was very happy. Very happy. Mother was crying. It is a different feeling. After a long, long time, it has come.
It was really very good talk with you, and you have actually covered everything so beautifully that I think any aspirant who will be going now for SSB, he'll have a basic idea that yes, he told me this and I need to do this. So thank you so much for
I would
such
suggest,
kind
ma'am,
words.
one thing I would like to
Yeah,
suggest.
please,
Whatever
please.
I have said here, I would say don't try to copy it. Try
Right.
to inculcate some of the things which you think can be put upon to make you a better person. Not that it will get you selected, but it will make you a more worthy guy for the forces. So this
Very
is the
kind words. Right. So thank you so much for sharing your experience and giving time to us as we crack exams. And we have wish you a lot many more successes and may you become the best officers in the Indian Army. Thank you so much and all the very best for your upcoming life of academy.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much.
Okay, have a very great day and thank you so much again.